The time is no longer near. It is in fact here. The host is seated with Voxcaster prepped. The guests are ready with data slates and codexes in hand. Recorded on an undisclosed planet just outside the heart of the Imperium. Lock and load your bolters and sharpen your choppas. Stratagem is about to begin.
This is Josh, and I've got a couple of people here today. BJ, tell me about your experience in Warhammer 40k.
Well, I've been playing Warhammer 40k for about 10 plus years now. I had a little break a while back, but it's been quite a few years now since I came back. Primarily I've played Guard, but I'm kind of been switching over to the Death Guard. There's something I'm really interested in switching over to playing a lot more of. They were always one of my favorite of the Chaos, was the disease and the +1 toughness, kind of because they always felt like the 40k version of dwarfs, or at least the closest comparison to them until we actually get squats again someday.
They're pretty slow and hard.
Exactly.
All right, and Tyler, what brought you into the game?
What brought me into the game was I was getting tired of hero clicks, to be honest. Yeah, and just Death watched it out. Now I'm wanting to be a filthy heretic.
Everyone falls to heresy eventually.
Well, I think we all like to have both sides of the coin.
That's true.
Except me, I'm all Xenos all day.
Hey, I've got a Xenos army as well.
I don't. I'm never going to stoop that low. I'm sorry, guys.
Today we're talking about that brand new Death Guard Codex. Let's start out with our core build.
Sentry going up!
All right, guys, what do you see as an essential base for your Death Guard forces?
Well, I figure we should start off with discussing what Death Guard is. The detachment of Death Guard infantry, marines, and allied forces. If you have an entirely Death Guard army, they have an ability, Inexorable Advance, gives all infantry and Hellbrutes the ability to move and fire heavy weapons, as well as shoot twice with rapid fire at 18-inch range. This really helps what is one of their biggest weaknesses, their long range, by giving them a little bit better medium range. So Death Guard, they get this slow and purposeful kind of replacement. And then their other big thing that they're known for is that they just don't die. Virtually all of them, with a few exceptions, have disgustingly resilient, that ability to make a 5+ ignore wound save. And ultimately it's kind of a however you want to play. They're very big into the idea of plague weapons. Their weapons do re-rolls of wound rolls of 1 for weapons attacks, and that's on both some of their ranged weapons as well as their melee weapons. And they do synergize to a certain degree with demons of the Nurgle variety.
We'll definitely get into that in a little bit. What's the core of your build? What are you looking at for your army?
I look at Death Guard and I see that they're really all about synergy. So, layering on plagues on top of disease. I'm planning on doing kind of a zombie horde, where I'll use Typhus, who will buff Poxwalkers, giving them a +1 to strength and toughness, with psychic powers, putrescent vitality, and gift of contagion. I'll use a Talion Man to let them reroll hits in the fight phase, adding in a Plague Surgeon who will let them reroll disgustingly resilient, giving them more survivability, and spreading them all bubble wrapped around a Mephitic Blight Hauler. That'll take their 7+ and bump it up to a 6+, so at least they get an armor save against the no AP bolt guns and las guns. Probably even throw in a Noxious Blightbringer so that they can advance up there and keep pace with the Blight Hauler. What all it'll end up meaning, I'll have a 6+ armor save against those las guns, with a 5+ rerollable disgustingly resilient save, then hit in melee with a rerollable 3+, and a presumed strength 5, toughness 5 horde. I'm wounding you on 3s, 2s if I use Veteran of the Long War stratagem, and with every infantry kill, my blob gets bigger. I won't be ignoring armor, but with so many wounds, I'm bound to get some of my number back anyway.
That sounds scary. Tyler, what are you using for the core of your army?
So the thing that I'm thinking of is, ironically, speed. I think the main thing with Death Guard is speed kills. You can definitely add a little speed to your Death Guard army. So Yeah, I'm looking core build, Mortarion. I'll tell the reasons why when we get in the gift rip section. Photed bloat drones, so you get that 10-inch move,
Mm-hmm.
automatic hitting, and you always advance because of their assault weapons. And maybe even little plague drones, add a little spice of demon to it. And adding actually Terminators for almost like a screen, a distraction. Now, BJ and I were talking about this beforehand about the reason why you shouldn't take Death Shroud Terminators and the reason why you should. But to be honest, I would definitely go Blight Lord Terminators over Death Shroud because you're paying 12 more points for a slower moving, one more attack thing that can basically do look out, sir.
Yeah, I had actually done some math on it beforehand. The Death Shroud Terminators, they're 75 points for each guy. For an army with Disgustingly Resilient, I find myself disgusted over it. They've got good melee attacks, but 2 wounds, a squad of 3 at the bare bones take is 225 points. 6 wounds for 225 points. I mean, 3 plasma guns, you've just lost a chunk of your army.
Yeah, that's true. That's a risk you're taking for something that can do a lookout, sir. I feel like with the Death Shroud Terminators, what you're doing is they were personal bodyguards for Mortarion, right?
Yeah, and they don't even buff off of Mortarion.
Right. Well, the main thing is they're there to basically take shots from Mortarion, so he doesn't go down to another wound bracket or anything because he can't heal up without a Nurgle Demon, for example. That's the rough thing, that you're paying an insane amount of points for something that's going to die. You want it to die. That's the point of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it doesn't die, you're kind of stuck with a 4-inch move that was basically trying to protect a guy that's already dead. I think that's a tough thing with Death Shroud. But on the other side, we got Blight Lords. Now the Blight Lords, same movement, same weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, all that fun stuff. But you get a unit of 5 instead of a unit of 3. A lot more fun stuff to play with.
Yeah, they do get 1 less attack, and they don't have the Eye of Mortarion, which I find very ironic that it doesn't buff Mortarion. Eye of Mortarion Death Guard characters within 3 inches of any friendly Death Shroud Terminator add 1 to their attacks characteristic. That's only like 1 or 2 extra attacks, depending on how many characters you've got near them.
Right. And, with the army that I want to build, speed kills, is to get Plague Marines and some Rhinos.
Yeah.
With so much flexibility that Plague Marines have with everything they're doing, Flail of Corruption, you could have a shooty Plague Marine troop choice, or you could have just full combat, because if everyone dual wields, they're going to get +1 attack.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And I kind of went through the book and I'm like, all right, well, how would I do it if I wanted this? How would I do it if I wanted this? There's a way you can build a very melee-centric Death Guard army that utilizes Plague Marines and assaults and stuff like that. Very mobile, push the field up as much as you can. You could put some stuff in Rhinos and be really impressive.
It's really dissecting it, and we're definitely going to be showing everyone how to get the most out of such a beast.
Absolutely. And we both approached it from 2 different directions.
Which I don't know if we should talk about now, but in my opinion, what the Death Guard Codex does is add so much more flavor to a Nurgle Demon's army. That's my opinion, and BJ and I were talking back and forth about it.
Absolutely.
We both brought up some good points, and we'll bring that discussion up later down the line in this.
All right, let's take this base build to the next level. What do you add to your list to really add in some flavor or a splash of big punchiness?
Well, Tyler brought up a good point earlier in our discussion. His concern was my Poxwalker zombie horde will be very slow, which is absolutely correct. If it gets shot, its weakness is it could get shot from a distance and just decimate it. So my thought on trying to do that is, well, I don't want you to shoot me, so I'm going to do something that's going to create a different target that you're going to be more concerned about than this slow-moving horde coming at your line. What I was planning on doing was Mortarion combined with 3 fetid bloat drones.
My Mortarion is actually off at my painter, Gore Painting.
Taking Mortarion and his fast movement, along with 2 bloat drones with plague spitters, doing 2d6 auto hit with 3 of them, doing rerollable strength 6 wounds because of Mortarion's Arch Contaminator. So on average, if I'm fielding, say, 3 bloat drones with their 6 plague spitters, I'm getting an average of 21 rerollable strength 6 wounds on first turn. That's going to be mean. So they're going to probably try to do something, tie it up, whatever. And then I'm going to advance and move past the flight line as fast as possible because the entire thing is a flying foursome of death and plague.
And now the thing that I was trying to talk BJ into is get more Poxwalkers. His army build is just 40 right now. Going up to that 80, going up to maybe even that 100, because you got to think 100 bodies on the board is 600 points. Now that's a lot, but for 100 bodies, that's not bad at all.
You are
So
absolutely correct. And currently, in my current kind of looking at things and trying to figure out how I was going to give myself some extra punch, I was kind of hoping to take that gap of points and doing 2 Blade Burst crawlers. But I'm not 100% sold on that. I'm still trying to play test it out with proxying models until we get those models finally in.
I think the best bet is the more bodies.
I kind of like that you're going to use Mortarion as a distraction Carnifex.
Yeah, I figure he goes in and does some serious wounds, and that Arch Contaminator, I don't like that unless he's with the bloat drones.
You mentioned that your Mortarion model is off at the painters. Who did you pick to paint this mini for you, and why?
I found them in my regional 40K Facebook group. I contacted him and felt he was reasonably priced. I didn't really know if there were any others closer to my area, someone I could drive to within a few hours, and that was important to me when I was looking for a painter.
How could our listeners find them?
You can find Gore Painting by searching Facebook or going directly to www.facebook.com/Warhammer 40K Paint.
From my point of view, Mortarion's terrifying because I'm playing the Harlequin bomb with all the Harlequin characters in one pod. His Mortal Wound aura is going to just tear them apart.
Oh, yeah. I actually played against some Yanari when I was playing my Nurgle Demons, and I had Mortarion, who wiped out 4 characters in one turn. It was mean. That aura... And it's in every fight phase. That's disgusting.
I want to give him a little bit more firepower by utilizing those bloat drones with him. And I just figured that's a flying foursome of death if you've got to deal with. That's part of the reason why I'm not too terribly worried about only having 40 Poxwalkers, because people are going to be freaking out about Mortarion, who's right in your face turn 1.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing too, is I actually ran Mortarion with 3 bloat drones, right? I didn't do the flesh mower thing. I did plague spitters, right? That is disgusting. The build I run now is a Nurgle Demon army, where if they have the tally of pestilence with epidemias, they get +1 strength when they kill 4 units. When any Nurgle Demon has killed a unit, it just builds up, right? So at the 4th unit killed, they get +1 strength. And if there's a Herald of Nurgle right next to these bloat drones, they're going to be shooting strength 8 automatic hits. It's mean. It's disgusting. And that's how I ended up wiping out 2 units of Harlequin troop that had the fusion pistols, right? I hate those things. Those are disgusting. And the other crazy thing is, with the bloat drones, I usually run them in any list type. Nurgle Demons, Death Guard, that is a must-have. Always a must-have. Now, it takes half or nearly 3/4 of an AdMech shooting army, all their fire with rerolls, to take out 1 bloat drone in 1 turn. Almost half or 3/4, that's probably 50, 60 shots to take out 1 bloat drone.
All right, now let's talk about synergies.
Sit or lie comfortably, quietly. Allow yourself to be here, fully, in this moment. With your eyes closed, begin to connect with your inner world of thought and feeling. Gradually, let the horseshit of the external world fade from your awareness.
Here we're looking at things like the chapter tactics, legion-specific traits, psychic powers, and relics, as well as unit or HQ-specific abilities that are going to help us boost all of the other stuff in the army.
The elite choices, the single unit elites, are really like the backbone of giving out fun, cool abilities, and even
works great with
Poxwalkers. So we'll start with the Noxious Blightbringer. Its main synergy is, in addition, if a Death Guard unit is within 7 inches of this model when it advances, roll 2 dice and discard the lowest result when determining the distance. Absolutely perfect. Perfect for horde armies. Low zombie action, yeah. A Blightbringer is a must-have. Now, if you're going a larger, like up to the 100 Poxwalkers, 100 bodies on the board, having those 2 separate things instead of 1 big old blob, you might be wanting to look at 2 Blightbringers now.
Absolutely. And it's ironic that it's actually kind of a negative in my army that he's got the Toxin of Misery, where the units subtract 1 from their leaderships while they're within 7 inches from enemy Noxious Blightbringers. I actually want you to stay so that I can kill you and get more Poxwalkers. Next unit, the Biologist Putrefier. This guy is kind of a grenade-happy guy. He's got the ability... Unfortunately, he kind of explodes like a vehicle, which kind of sucks. But his explosions specify that it does not affect units with the Nurgle keyword. So this is one of those times where I think the Nurgle demons do synergize well, because you don't get hurt. At least in his explosion. His big thing is he comes with blight racks, where he increases the strength